Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your ITFC's Talking Town on a Sunday lunchtime. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov. Not really looking forward to discussing yesterday's game, if I'm brutally honest, but we must do it. As always, hit the like button, subscribe. If you're watching on Catch Up, FGA, comment for that algorithm. Let us know what your thoughts, your feelings were on the game yesterday. Norwich 1, Ipswich Town 0. It continues in the East Anglian derby. More heartache. Lots of comments already flying in. So please, if you're watching live, do let us know your thoughts, your feelings. Obviously, Watford on the horizon. Leeds can't capitalise on Town's mistakes, so they slip themselves up as well. So it's still all in Town's hands to do. David Ellison says, I agree. Norwich fate does rest in our hands. We're virtually a buy into the final for them. Fair play. Good afternoon, says Phil. Welcome in, Phil. Phil says, I think McKenna got his selection a bit wrong yesterday. Perhaps should have started Taylor, Sarmiento, Ali Hamidi, and Clark. I will just go on to record now and say that's a little bit of Harry hindsight there, because I think in a big game like Norwich, Ali starting over Kofi more would have been a big shout. Big shout that I'm not sure many people would have agreed with it. I don't know, 12 o'clock, 11:30 when the team news is announced. I think that's a little bit Harry hindsight personally there, Phil. Because Ali did come on and he did play well. But would you have started him over Kiefer? I'm not sure. And he says, in McKenna, I trust. Look, we've been dished for the last 20 years before he came. Very true. Look, as always, we are partnered with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. And you can also help support the crucial with a capital C work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance. Every game helps to save lives and provide vital medical care to those in need. One of our viewers, Sean, has won some decent amount of money this year playing Match Bingo. The Crunch is now on it, so it's always good to get one over on him if you play it. £2 bingo card. They've got free bingos, over 18s only. Be gamble aware, and how you play is on your screen. If you're watching, if you're listening, you can download the app. Just search Match Bingo onto your smart device, tablet, etc., and away you shall go. It's very easy. Even I can do it, which goes to show how easy it is. Leaf Finchy, I keep remembering the way they celebrate like they won the World Cup when we go up and they didn't make it. Lots of talk coming about yesterday's performance, as you would expect, in regards to Norwich's performance. Our performance, did we show up? Mike doesn't seem to think so. Joining me, as always, is somebody who watched from the comfort of his own home and somebody who was not a part of the complimentary package, I believe, but was there based off his ticket points allocation, is, of course, Matthew Phillips and Richard Moss.
That's a bit naughty. He's gone early, Matt.
It's gone early. We've been discussing this behind the scenes, everybody. Yeah.
I take it you weren't there off a complimentary.
I think we should address this because it's obviously the disappointment we'll come to. But, I mean, if you go on social media, it's awash with this ticket allocation, these complimentary tickets, these people shouldn't have been here. Look, I think I'm only going off what I've seen, because I think that's what we have to talk about, what we've seen. But there's a few respected people that I've seen saying there was 200 club staff, they were all given a ticket and they all had +1. So that accounts to 400 tickets. And it goes back to, I think last week when there was a story, I think it was one of the local newspapers, Matt, on the social saying 1,600 Town fans, and everyone was going, well, hang on, it's 2022. Well, if it's 1,600 Town fans officially that have been sold tickets, and then there's 200 plus another 200 complimentary, that sort of adds up. So, look, we all see Fabio. I had my picture with him. I've not got a problem personally with him being there, probably because he's 6'5" and he'll knock me out. But no, but honestly, I haven't got a problem with him being there with the sort of eyes he gives to the football club. He's a big presence at the football club, goes to games. Yeah, it was a bit... when I see he was going to be at the game, he said he'd delayed his holiday. He was going to go on holiday after the Norwich game. I thought, yeah, probably in the director's box. When I get on the train, and there he is at the end, waving his scarf around, and he's on the beers, and he's literally brilliant. Had pictures taken with everybody yesterday, which was fantastic, So... that's one thing, yeah. I've got no problem with him. When I see people like Kieran Dyer there, work for the football club, has slated the football club as well, got a bit salty, now works at Chesterfield. That, personally, people can disagree or agree with me. I don't really care. But he shouldn't be there as far as I'm concerned, because him, and if you're saying, look, club staff and players, they'll probably get a ticket. I've not got a problem if there's an allocation of about, say, 30 or 40 tickets. Fair enough. But for a game against Norwich, Mark will 100% hits it on the head there, Mark. For anyone listening, it's disrespecting fans who had 25 points and didn't get tickets as a kick in the teeth, because people who've paid a lot of money to follow Town up and down the country, not just this season, but a lot. There's a lot of people that have gone regular, and obviously as Town have done better, guys, we've got more support. That's just natural, because that's just football over, I think, a lot of football clubs, Matt. Fans are fickle. We know that. You only have to look at Portman Road a few years ago, half empty. So with that comes success. But there's a lot of people who've put in the miles, and then if you can't get a ticket and you hear stuff like this, to me personally, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, look, the big issue I've got is when you see Mark Ashton come on Town TV. I've asked this fan base to step up, and every time I've asked them, they've done it. Well, he's let you down. Whoever signed that off yesterday has let you down, because as you rightly say there, you've got people doing hard yards up, going up motorways, going to the back and beyond over weekends, accruing points that wasn't enough to get you a ticket, or would have been enough had they not given these.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that, Lee. People passing tickets on, because this is another thing they say. It should only be the person who's purchasing that ticket. They've made such a song and dance about this. The touting policy they bought out. Now there's a page on Facebook when people are trying to get rid of the tickets. Everyone gets a phone call now. You're not allowed to do that. They'll stop your tickets. So you can't have it both ways, as far as I'm concerned. Look, they've done loads of good stuff, and we've referenced it on here before. They have, the football club. For me, this is a bit of an own goal, if I'm being honest.
And I wouldn't blame Kieran or Fabio taking the tickets. If you're going to get a phone call from the club, we've got you a ticket for Ipswich against Norwich at Carrow Road, you're going to take it. Whoever signed that off internally, that you're right. I wouldn't say it's a bit of an own goal. I'd say it's a massive own goal, and disrespectful to the fans that keep being asked to, because the leisure pound is tight, to buy free shirts, come to the women's game, support the club in that nature. I think it's really, really poor. I actually think it's as worse than the Town's performance yesterday, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Simon says, not great on tickets, but if we won, would it have been a talking point?
That is a good point.
Good point. Maybe.
That is a good point, but it still doesn't make it right. Win, lose, or draw.
No, don't. Exactly.
I think it would be a talking point, because I mean, Kieran Dyer was obviously in employment with a football club, so I imagine he hasn't gone to many away games following Town this year. So his points allocation.
He's always working on a Saturday. He's
exactly. I mean, I was a bit surprised Wardley was in the away section and not in the director's box. And you're just taking away people who put that leisure pound into the football club. And I'm not saying Wardley and Dyer haven't contributed to the club overall over the years. Of course, they have in different ways. But are they going to put the leisure pound in next week, the week after, etc.? You've got to look after those that core base, haven't you?
Yeah, when we were talking before, it was like, look, Norwich is the game. It's probably one of the worst away days there is. You're treated like probably modern day scum, if I'm being quite honest. You're sort of, you've got to go through this entrance, you've got to walk down there, you can't go here, can't go there. Look, you've been there.
Or under the bridge.
You've been there. You've been there, Martin. You know what it's like. Matt's obviously not been there because he don't go away. But I'll get that one in.
I like that one.
But it's like I said before we started, there was plenty of tickets for Blackburn. Plenty of tickets for Easter Monday, Easter Friday at Blackburn when we played there. There you go. Give you complimentary tickets there. Oh, no, because people have got to travel 4 or 5 hours, Matt, on an Easter Friday when the roads, Norwich is just down the road. There you go. Doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry, Matt, people are saying in the chat it would have been an even bigger talking point had we won, because you as David says here, all Town fans would have loved to have been there on such a momentous occasion, which, again, there's merits in history-making occasion as well. Yeah, I'm surprised. It's not. Is it keeping with the ethos of the football club recently? That type of move, Matt, for you?
No, not at all. Which is what I'm saying earlier. I just don't understand why they thought that was a good idea. Look, it is magnified a little bit because we've lost. Well, we'll come to that in a minute, a bigger picture and everything. But when we do the fixture show, we got promoted out of League One. We do the fixture show for the Championship. What are we all looking at? When do we play them at Portman Road? When do we go to Carrow Road? And they're the two biggest fixtures, and people who've accrued points and done many motorway miles missed out yesterday, and I think that's a shame. And I'd blame Mark Ashton and co for that. Look, I've bigged them up a lot on this show in terms of investment, what they've done for the club, how they've turned the club around. The old tanker that was Marcus Evans is on the periphery of the Premier League, but this is just nonsense. You know,
and
I'd
I
be
guess
interested to see if they come out with a statement about it. I think they should.
Well, and just as a sort of final comment, final question, I guess, is this how every big game will be treated from this point on?
Look, you're always going to. They're always players. Players are always going to have. They'll get tickets. I know that, but
it isn't players run that here, though, is it?
No, it's.
And I would hope as a player of a club that my loved ones aren't shoved into the away end and treated like us away fans are normally treated. That's not like if I'm Captain Sam Morsey, that's not how I want my loved ones to be experiencing Derby Day. In all honesty, like I would have hoped the players' loved ones would have been more looked after in the sense of where the ticket allocation for them would have been. But is this how every big game is going to be treated from this point on?
What would it be like if we get to Wembley in the playoff final, for example? You're going to have what, 40, probably 38 to 40,000 tickets. They'll just be dished out like confetti, presumably, if yesterday was anything to go by.
Yeah. All right. Well, dropping a link very shortly. You can have your say on that. And of course, now we'll come to. Well, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
I think it's only right. Just quickly before we move on. I think it's only right that we address the tickets because on here, I think it's obviously a talking point, and people might say you're wrong. You shouldn't be talking about that. You should talk about the game. You should get your facts right. We're only going off what we've seen on social media, and there's a lot of people. There was an email apparently floating around that they've seen. Mark Ashton said these tickets must not be sold on any means. So there's obviously people who've seen it, and then there's people saying, why don't you share the email? These people don't have to share the email. Why should they? They don't have to. No. If they've read it, they can actually say, I've seen it. You know? They're not telling porkies here, you know, because there's more than one person who've I've seen loads of it. So
and the reason we do address it is because this show is for the fans, by the fans, and guess what? Fans have missed out yesterday. So it's a valid talking point.
Absolutely, yeah. And we spent 12 minutes of the first of a show. Not exactly a huge amount of time talking about it, because now we are going to come to, and I struggle to say the word performance, because I don't think it was much of a performance, Rich. I mean, you were there. It looked more like, I said this in last night's show after the game. Flip-flops, beach balls, end of season, 2 mid-table teams. Had that feel to it.
Yeah, I see the your comment there from Phil about, look, come on. When that team was announced at 11:30, that's probably your strongest 11 you've got available at the minute. Possibly Harry Clark, maybe, and for Axel, we'll discuss that. But other than that, I mean, if we'd have made 4 or 5 changes there and then it had gone wrong, everybody would have said, well, Kieran shouldn't have done that. So he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't, really. But look, that was a team there that has performed really well before, you know, and yesterday... Look, we didn't get going. Was it a great game? No, it wasn't. You know, it was. If it had been 0-0, Matt, and we'd have walked away from there, we'd have probably said, look, we're disappointed with the performance, but we take the point and we move on. And it's only because of, we'll come to the goal, the free kick, which personally I think the goalkeeper should save. You know, Norwich, second half, they did have, look, they probably have a couple of other chances they could have scored, but then we're pushing forward a little bit. We'll leave ourselves a little bit more open. And then at no point during that game yesterday, second half, I was there, Martin. I don't know what you two thought watching on the telly. There was at no point did I think the Town were actually going to score yesterday. I thought we looked flat. We can't get behind them. You have to give credit to the opposition. They set up well. They nullified us. I spoke to you on the phone on the way home, Matt, when David Wagner was manager of Huddersfield in the playoffs. It didn't actually stay. I think it was an own goal in the semi-finals, Sheffield Wednesday, and then they won on penalties. So he knows in them games how to shut teams down, you know? So they shut us down. They got the victory. You just have to take it on the chin. It's like I said to my boys when we're there at the end and they're giving it the 15 years and they're coming around doing their lap of honour and Duffy's leading it and he's whipping. You just have to stand there and take it. And I've been to Carrow Road loads of times. I've only ever seen us win there twice. I've seen that loads of times. Does it stick in my throat? Yeah, it does. There's nothing I can do about it. I can shout and scream and whatever and moan. We've got to get over this very, very quickly. Fans might dwell on it a little bit longer because we can. As players, got to move on very, very quickly. A game comes Wednesday. This can't derail our season. It can't derail our season. We've got away with one massively with Leeds losing to Coventry yesterday. Do I think that we can get in the top 2 on performances in the last few games? I'll be honest, I don't, because I look at the fixtures and I look at the home games and I've got no worries about them, you know, because I think we're a different animal at home. We see how we all play. We're on the front foot. The 2 games there, Matt, for me, are like massive red flags standing out. Hull City away, Coventry City away. The way that we've been playing away, does anyone have any real confidence at the minute? Look, things can change very quickly in football because we've got a 2-week break, haven't we, after we play Middlesbrough. Hopefully then we could have George Hurst back, possibly Wes, who knows, you know, he might come back into the equation. But at the minute, I don't think away from home we're playing well enough to go to them places and get victories. Because if I look at them fixtures, and you look at Leeds' fixtures, look, we're a point ahead of them. We've just got to match what they do. Possibly we're going to have to win all 5. We possibly might have to. That might not happen like that because you know what football's like, Matt, because we look at the fixtures. But we're probably going to have to win at least one of them away games.
Matt?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I still think top 2 is on, but they're hard games. When Wednesday against Watford and Middlesbrough going to be tough because I think Middlesbrough are 6th in the form table away from home. Watford are 8th. So, and I see Borough have got an outside chance of the playoffs. So you never know. But you're right. And Kieran said it yesterday, you've got to move on really quickly. And it was massively disappointing because, you know, we've had such a fantastic season in a position that, you know, we said it on Friday night, Rich. Last time we was at Carrow Road, we were rock bottom of the table. Fast forward 5 years, we've gone there top of the table. So it shows you the strides we've made. And with that comes hopes, dreams, aspirations of getting promotion.
Yeah.
But it's not in your hands as a supporter. You have to pass that over to the 11 that wear the blue shirt and Kieran and the coaching staff that make all the decisions. And as I said to you boys on the phone earlier, and I've said on the show before, they are not robots. And like mine, I said to you within the first 10 minutes, I said, what's wrong with Leif Davis? Doesn't look on it. And you were like, well, you know, everyone needs to settle down.
He's had some illness. This is another thing that people need to take into account.
Not
illness,
a robot.
Injury. Now, switching back, I don't know what you two think, and people might say this is an excuse. I don't think we're looking for excuses. The emotion of Monday night.
Yes.
Do you think that
Agreed.
maybe played a small, I'm not saying a massive part, a small part yesterday?
It is when you've already entered into those 2 games on the Easter weekend with players running on fumes, as we were, as many of the top 3 sides were. Leeds, you know, Leicester, any club with international players. You entered that Easter break with players already on the fumes, particularly if they've played extra time, etc. Monday was an emotional game, last minute winner. Took a lot out of the players, physical, mental, and then you've got to get yourself right for a big game, which is a Norwich. And I know they are, you know, hired guns for a better word. You know, they're not town fans. They weren't born and bred. Some were. Don't get me wrong. We know two of them certainly were, but most of them, you know, you've got to get your mind right, and then you've got to go into it. It's early kickoff. It's on Sky. You know, if you win, you've got a big boost towards your own promotion. Yeah, I do think Monday played, you know, that weekend, not just Monday, that weekend in general. Because we haven't got a big squad. Let's be honest. We haven't got, you know, like Amari Hutchinson, for example. You know, his 3rd start in 3. He's not had many starts, as in like run a succession. He's a young player. You got Marcus Harness coming off the bench, who was flirting in and out with the squad when we have players fit. So I think so. Is my thoughts, Matt. What would you say?
Would you have swapped the excitement, the emotion of Monday night for a win at Carrow Road? Because you've got that 3-2 will live. We've said it Friday night, didn't we, Rich? That will live with us forever.
Yeah.
It's one of the top greatest games we've ever had at Portman Road. If you were there on the evening, unbelievable to me. You know, but look, every game in isolation, right? And I think you're right. It came along at the wrong time. We were saying, weren't we, Rich? Traditionally, over the last few years, when we've actually played them, so I don't put too much stock in his 15 years. Didn't play him for about 4 or 5 years, did we? But traditionally, we've been playing like September, February, haven't we? So this has come a lot later in the season. It's the first time we've played him in April for about 40 years or something. It's like early 80s is the last time.
No, we got absolutely smashed at home with Andy Drury and Aaron Lee Barrett playing for us on Easter weekend.
Like Carrow Road.
That was
Carrow Road.
Portman
Yeah, it was Portman Road. I thought you meant in general, the fixture in general. No,
I mean, that too. But I mean, look, just going to Carrow Road, and stakes were high, weren't they? So you know, the fixtures really you have to play them at some point. But going back to your original point, I do agree. I don't think the timing was great for us. For whatever reason, it was just a non-performance. which have been very few and far between. I mean, what other ones can we think of? Leeds away, the 4-0, we've got absolutely battered. But we didn't get battered yesterday. We was under a lot of pressure. But at the end of the day, they've scored a 30-yard free kick, which Haladki will look back and think he should have saved it. There wasn't that many other chances that they had. And as Kieran said, that he felt quite comfortable within 20 minutes. I was sat there thinking to myself, I can't see these beating us. Other than we referenced it the other night, Rich, their set piece threat. And of course, they started getting, after the Axel tackle, we'll come to that in a minute, they started getting a number of free kicks around the box. And, that increases their chances of scoring. And he's got a good shot on him, that Nunez. But by the same token, I didn't think Norwich had a lot in it to beat us. As you're right, Rich, we didn't like scoring. We've said that a few times in away games this season.
There you go, Louis. Look, I'm not sure what team Louis supports, but he says can't be mad if you don't get top 2. Crazy season for a newly promoted team. It is, but we will have fans coming here today, and they will say this is put a massive black mark against the season. For me, I'm older now and I'm wiser now. When I was younger, if we lost to Norwich, it would be the end of the world. Now I've woke up this morning. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. Don't get me wrong, because I went there yesterday. You got massive hopes that finally this is the day that you're going to be able to turn over your local rivals. But we didn't. It's a game of football. We have to move on. Like you two said, they ain't robots. They're not robots. Were Norwich great? Did Norwich deserve the victory? Yes, they did. I won't come on here and say that Norwich weren't the better team because they were the better team. But yeah, it's like Sean says there. It's separated by a free kick, waith of thin wall. We'll come.
We'll come on. We'll get into that.
And it's like any game in this league. It is small margins. It is small margins, and it always seems against Norwich, the small margins fall on their side. But then we have to look ahead, and we have to get prepared for Watford.
Bigger picture.
But at the back of my mind is probably we could be visiting Carrow Road in a matter of weeks. It
was a West Brom game, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
It was like
Wagner did what Carlos Corberán did to us. They got, they scored, and it was a low block. It was digging, try and break us down, which we have, at times struggled with over the last 2 years. With teams that even in League One we struggled at times with teams who came and sort of sat in and asked us to get round them and everything else.
Get the ball out to the flanks. There was where does our threats come from? Leaf, Davis, and Amari. They barely saw the ball, did they, in the first half? We literally redundant. Again, Chaplin went back to how you've said, Rich. He becomes a little bit anonymous sometimes away from home. Might not have been on the pitch. Keith Moore didn't get anything of note. It's like an avalanche, isn't it? You get that low block in, and suddenly our game isn't working. The passing isn't good. You said a good description of it on the phone, Rich. You see, it was messy. Our passing wasn't good enough. We weren't slick. There was no pace. There was no energy about it.
It was like the pass in the first half when Morsey passed it back to Aladki.
The bobble.
And he's had to volley it at a real weird angle, and you think.
What's he dinking it for there? What's he dinking it for?
I haven't got a clue.
But then, have you seen him do that again? Have you seen him do that this season? No. Goes to the Derby at Carrow Road. Fucking all over the shop.
It was like pressing the wrong button on FIFA. I'm thinking it back to me goalkeeper with Josh Sargent bearing down on him. It's like, what's going on there? But the one thing that sticks in my mind, and we'll come to the goal shortly because that's a big point. But the big point that sticks in my mind, you're right about Messi. And I think they dragged us down to their level.
Yeah.
And did a very convincing job in doing that. But I see it today, and the biggest not the biggest disappointment, but the biggest point in my mind is the Axel Twenzarbi foul. And I said it yesterday on the match reaction. And at that point, I thought we were growing into the game, a good away performance, keeping the ball well. We'd taken the crowd out of it. They'd died down. They'd gone quiet. And Norwich was starting to just sort of get into a shape and get into a shell. And then they broke free. Offside or not, I don't know. I've not seen that angle back. I don't know.
I'd looked this morning. I hadn't seen it until this morning. It's a marginal one. Probably if he's got VAR there, I think he's probably offside.
But the biggest thing is, for me, a perfectly good tackle, a perfectly timed tackle, gets the ball, is given as a foul. And in that moment, they're going to free kick in a dangerous area. You're going to write back on a card. But more importantly than that, it brings that home crowd straight back into that moment because they get their backs up, Rich. And that was, for me, one of the biggest turning points of that game. It allowed Norwich that emotional lift back into the game.
Yeah, it was the start of probably a period of about 10 minutes, wasn't it? And they got, I think, 3 free kicks within shooting distance, had a couple wide. I've watched it back. At the time, when we are probably about 70, 80 yards away, I I couldn't see if it's a foul or not. I've watched it back. I mean, the referee has to look at the direction of the ball, Martin, to start with, because it's gone that way. And another thing, if he thinks it's a foul,
it's a red card.
It's a red card all day long, because you look at the James Bree sending off on Monday, he possibly could have had a covering player there, Matt. We did say on Wednesday, didn't we? Said possibly, was it Harwood Bellis possibly coming across? The one yesterday, the one yesterday, Axel is the last man. And if the ref does think that that is a foul, he's got to send him off. But it's never a yellow card. It's never a free kick. He's obviously seen something there. He's got his linesman on that side, surely, who he should be up with play, Martin, and he should see.
He guessed?
Possibly, yes.
They never are, these fellas.
But the linesman as well should see the change in direction of the ball.
Because there was a line on the commentary, Rich, when I'm trying, and it's not a verbatim repeat. I'm trying to think of it as I sit here. I think it was a line along the lines of perhaps he wasn't as sure, which is why it was a yellow and not a red. And looking at it, look at his position, Matt. Could he have guessed? And that's why it's the yellow? Because Rich is right. If it's a foul, it's a red, but it's never a foul in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, like, I was really worried he was going to... Well, first of all, I thought I actually got up and applauded. What a tackle.
Yes,
fantastic tackle. And then suddenly you can see all the melee around the match official, and he's given a free kick. I really did think Axel was going to get sent off. Going back to using the James Bree one, Rich, as a blueprint, you're quite right. It's a, same side of the box, just happens to be on the right side. It was a phenomenally bad decision, and it did change the game because, like you say, Martin, the crowd suddenly get up. It then starts that spate of free kicks. They start getting around the box, so they're getting a nose for goal. Certainly, Axel's performance wasn't great up until then, anyway. I don't think, but it was a beautifully timed tackle. I feel like he did lose some confidence. When people talk about the changes they could have made before the game started yesterday, I did think maybe Harry would come in in for this game, but. Certainly Axel's, he gets subbed on in the second half. Certainly his performance nosedived after that, and that didn't help us. You don't want to be on a yellow card with the goal threat that they've, of Sargent. Like we said, mine, every time I've touched bloody Sargent, it was a foul, wasn't it? Automatic foul.
It was ridiculous.
In that first half, it was like
Sam Morsey. Sam Morsey, and we'll come on to that one later.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll look ahead to the two other decisions the referee did or didn't make, and then we'll go to the goal. So first of all, we've got in the chat there, Matt's done with regards to Hutchinson being fouled in the box.
No,
Rich is shaking his head for those that
there's a foul. There's a foul about 20 seconds before that. I think that's the one when Axel's late on. Was it Science? Referee plays on.
Yes,
he plays an advantage, doesn't go back, and we break.
Yeah,
the one on Hutchinson. That's never a penalty. Not a chance.
Soft.
It's so soft.
But given that he was given free kicks for those kind of challenges elsewhere,
that's the one. That's one though, Martin. I think when you probably see anywhere else on the pitch, a little nudge, free kick. Anytime in the penalty area, they try. The fullbacks do that. They help them. So they give them a little nudge when they're getting towards the byline. For me,
little nudge. It was like watching a gauntlet in Gladiators.
Not a penalty.
And he bounced him out of the stadium.
He did. He refereed the game. Look, I get the feeling that he knew it was a derby. Stakes are high. He wanted the games to flow. But I mean, bloody hell, that Nunes should have had a yellow card in what side? What?
Well, I see one yesterday online when Sargent's giving the ref a gobful, and you can clearly see what he calls him. I'm not going to say it on here. And I mean, how have you let him get away with that? How have you let him speak to you like that?
Yeah, weird.
And I thought players asking for cards was a.
Well, you're not allowed
I mean, matey boy at Stoke. Boy at Stoke. It's probably still paying his fine off.
Like, second yellow.
And then yesterday, the whole teams are going, "Where's the cards? Where's the cards?"
Yeah, it's just not consistent from game to game, is it? And I don't know who he's playing at. I thought it was really odd. That Nunes should have been on a yellow. Now that would have affected his game, right? You get a yellow in the first few minutes. We see Leaf get a yellow at Blackburn within the first few minutes, and that Nunes is just throwing at least 2 challenges in. And didn't get a yellow. And that might have changed the way he would have approached the game, knowing that he's got to play another 85 minutes, whatever it might be, on a yellow card in the centre of midfield.
Now, not reasons why Town were abject and flat, but they are flashpoints in the game. And the last flashpoint before the goal, we come to the goal, was Josh Sargent threw on goal, Sam Morsey. Now, I imagine live, Rich has probably lost his lunch.
Everybody in
the second half here. The second half. Yeah.
Everyone in. I've seen it back. Now, I've only seen it on. They show one replay. You've probably had countless replays from different angles. And you said to me, Matt, that he Sargent sort of stops a little, slows down, and sort of puts his leg across Morsey. Now, I still think he's very, very lucky there that he's. It's not a red card. I think it's a foul, and I think it's a yellow card to Sam Morsey. I honestly, when I've seen it back at watching live, fucking hell.
We got away. It
What's
did feel
going
like
on
we got
there?
away with it. Yeah.
But wouldn't it have been a red card? It's not a penalty.
It would be a red. Yeah, could easily be a red.
It'd be a red,
I think it looks like Wolfie's there on the cover. But then we can switch to the one at the end there. I've not even seen that back. You said to me, Al Hamady, does he get fouled when he's getting away?
Given the blueprint that the referee had already set himself by his own standards in the first half, free kick all day.
But he hasn't given the free kick the other end on Sargent, so
he had a really good view of that, to be fair, on Sargent. I mean, look, they did took a lot of replays, didn't he, Martin, for them to actually work out Sargent.
You two must have thought live. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I thought he's taking one for the team here, and we won't see you for 3 games.
Yeah, it did feel like that at the time, didn't it? But
it's another game. It's another game closer to Morsey if he's needed. If we have to go to the playoffs, he's still got another 5 games, and he's still got 2 yellows to.
I'd say that was probably his worst game for Town in his Town career yesterday. He's been so good for us, and people have come on there and spoken nonsense. Oh, he vanished against Blackburn, absolute bullshit. But he didn't. Look, no one had a good game yesterday. But it was just he couldn't raise his game either. Shows you how stuck in the mud we were yesterday for whatever reason. Even he couldn't raise his game.
Every passing year that this football club does not beat this team is pressure being built, and it shouldn't be, because it isn't them. They weren't part of the last.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. It's like Kieran's obviously his only second derby, wasn't it? But as a fan base, and then obviously every time there's a game against Norwich that we haven't beaten them, when they do the press, they'll get asked about it. When they're out there playing, does that weigh on their mind? I don't think it does. It's just a game of football. When they're out there playing, you just put all that aside as a player, don't you? When you're out on the field,
are you taking out your comfort zone mentally? Are you preparing for a game differently, perhaps, to how you normally would prepare? Because it is a bigger game on the calendar. They'll say though it isn't. They'll just say it's any other game. They will say that because they'll trot that line out, won't they? It's just another game. It's 3 points. You don't believe that,
no, people like Wolfie and people like Harry Clark, obviously, they've got that connection, haven't they? That they're Town boys, so they'll feel it. They'll know a little bit more about it, and hopefully, like in the build up to the game, they'll be getting into some of the players in training and telling them what this means. But
I think people around the town would do that, though, right? Like, Sam Morsey paying for his petrol in the BP garage. Like, you're going to get the cashier behind the desk say, "Big game Saturday, got to win it for us."
Oh yeah,
like, those little comments that are nothing on the face of it, but you hear them 4 or 5 times a day for 7 days straight. You do start to obviously, right, Matt, subscribe to this. And you perhaps start.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
Anyway, wow, what a game at Ibrox, by the way.
What's the score now?
Glasgow Griffin there.
No, Alex wasn't there. He was there yesterday. It was 2-0 to Celtic at half time.
Right, yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
James Tavernier, 2-1. Simmer for Rangers on 86 levelled it.
Yeah.
Adam Eder. He's on loan from Norwich. Straight down the other end, 87 minutes. 3-2, 90 plus 3. Matonda for Rangers. 3-all.
Oh my God, what a game. They always seem to play that game when we play Norwich.
Well, they play that game about every other week, don't they?
Well, yeah, they do. Yeah, that's
so
true.
many times.
How the Scottish. But yeah, going back to what you say, Mine. Yeah, I mean, look, the derby is for the fans, really, isn't it? It's the bragging rights.
Yes.
We live it historically, and and we've all been to the games. Whereupon, as you say, players come and go. Some might not play in a derby ever again. East England derby ever again. Pick which ones you want out of that 11 yesterday. But it only really ramps up, doesn't it, when the players come out and Norwich had that big banner. Fucking god awful artwork. What the hell was that on our levels? Was it? I didn't even know where it was. But look, at the end of the day, look, they've got the win.
Away.
They've got the win. But if you asked any Norwich fan coming out of Carrow Road yesterday, would you swap that 3 points for us for being second in the table with us? They'd have would all have taken it. So, in isolation, they've won the game. But at the moment, we are in a far better position than what they are.
Dominic says, "Oh, go on."
But it's all right saying that, Matt. If we face them in the playoffs, all your form for the season out the window, mate.
They've got to get to the playoffs yet.
Well, that's every team. That's every team.
They've got to get there yet. That ain't nailed on.
Matt Stannard, Morse needs to work on playing balls out to the right as well as his left. His preferred ball is always Leaf. We had many missed changes first. Well, I think that's the whole outlet, though, isn't it, for the team? That is the outlet ball, Leaf Davis. That's a tactical.
Yeah, very difficult. When, as you said earlier, they're playing the low block, and we've seen a struggle against teams that have come out of the Premier League previously. Norwich being one, West Bromwich Albion being another one. It's very easy for us to sit there and go, "Why can't he do that? Why can't he do it?" Do you not think they weren't trying to do that?
It's also
we're allowed to.
It's also a difficult task and I'm his biggest fan. Everyone knows what I call him when Nathan Broadhead is as MIA as he was yesterday. Like I didn't realise he was playing for the vast majority
was that first half.
Yeah, but them two particularly work off each other so well. Broadhead creates space that Davis then exploits by moving into and having that half a yard, those 5 yards to pick a pass. And Broadhead was so quiet, so not Nathan Broadhead like yesterday for me.
That's interesting you say about them two working as a partnership, because I think the other side, Hutchinson and Twanzebe, don't work as a partnership, mine. Axel as a defender, he's very good. And he's probably a better defender than Harry Clark. But going forward, Harry's much better going forward because he can get on that overlapped. And he's much... But then he used to play, he was an attacker, wasn't he? When he was a younger... I think when he was at Town, So I think personally on Wednesday, I think Harry Clark will probably come back into the team.
Finally.
I think he'll probably make some changes. Look, Axel's done really, really well. He gives you that a bit more solidity. But now, this stage of the season, we've just got to bloody go for it in every single game now. You've got to try and... It's 5 wins away, Martin. It doesn't seem that much when you look at it and you say, that's only 5 wins. We've just won, what was it, 8 out of the last 10. Or no, was it 9 out of the last 11, something like that? But it's
9-11, isn't it? I think.
Well, 6 out of the last 9 is what most fans, probably more than most fans.
But it's still a very big ask when you look at that today, and you look at the type of teams we've got to play, because none of them are gimmies. When you look at them, even Watford, Middlesbrough.
No one's got any gimmies particularly. Like when I was on that Leeds pod and they were like, "Oh, well, we think Leicester will get 100 plus points. I think Leeds will get 100." I was like, "No, it doesn't work like that. Otherwise, teams would be getting 100 points all the time, wouldn't they? Dominating, coming down from the Premier League and then bouncing back. And it very rarely does that happen. Listen, I think we'll still have another defeat in there. Our home form is going to be the real critical ones, I think.
I think another defeat, I think could be terminal. I honestly think that.
Not for me. I think you win the 3 home games.
Yeah.
You've got to win the 3 home games. So that gives you 96 points minimum, and then see what you can take at either Hull or Coventry. Coventry will be a very difficult game. Look, Leeds found it difficult there yesterday. So what can we get at Hull is going to be the critical thing. But the other thing, must win 3 games at Bournemouth Road, Rich. Has to be 9 points there.
The other thing now is, up until the last game against Huddersfield, Leeds are playing before us. So they play Tuesday night, then we play Wednesday. They play early on Saturday, and then we play later. Then the next week, when we play, there's no game. We've got, because obviously Coventry in the semi. Leeds play that Monday night, I think, away at Middlesbrough, Matt. Then Leeds play QPR. They play QPR before we go to Hull on that Saturday night. So we're going to have 3 games left then, and Leeds are only going to have 1. So if we can get these 2 wins that we're all craving in these next 2 home games, but the pressure's going to be immense. Playing catch-up for me now. If Leeds, I'm not saying Leeds are going to win all their games, but I think they can turn that pressure up a little bit, Matt, on Town if they get them wins before we play. Because we'll go out there.
I've always said they're not beating Sunderland. I said that about 2 months ago.
Who?
When we did
at Ellen Road. At Ellen Road.
They're not beating Sunderland.
They'll absolutely fucking smash them Tuesday night. I'd have 50 quid with you.
I got to stick by what I said 2 months ago when we were doing the whole where will Leeds slip up thing.
Sunderland, the absolute dog, and you know it now.
I do. Yes, that does look rather foolish. Talking of foolish, 2-man wall, no 2-man wall, 8-man wall, no 8-man wall, whatever the wall size was or wasn't. Big talking point. I'm going to defend a laggy on the wall situation a little bit. He's what, 30, 35 yards out when he strikes that ball?
I agree with you on that. I look, when you showed me the picture, Rich, it does look a bit weird, doesn't it? 2-man wall. But the expected goal on that, on the stats, was 0.01 to score from there. So I just feel like as a goalkeeper, you've got all the vision, haven't you?
Yeah, you would say if you score from there, it's a worldie and you deserve to have scored, right? Because you're backing yourself to see it in plenty of time and react in plenty of time. But we'll talk about the save or lack of in a moment, but the two-man wall, lots of talking points. Harp says no point having a wall, it was pathetic. But you're almost encouraging him to shoot here, aren't you? You're almost you're thinking, you're backing yourself.
You'd fancy a left key to save it from that distance. Hence, it was
This-
0.01 expected goal.
And he should have done, by the way.
This reminds me a little bit when I was at Wolves, and I think it was one of my first away games, Matt, we played against Wolves, and Kevin Muscat was playing against them.
Oh,
and I think it was like in the 88th minute, and he was about 30 yards out, he had the ball, and I said, go on then, shoot. And he smashed it straight in the top corner. This is one of them ones yesterday when you think, go on then, have a shot. You know, if you can put that in the top corner from there.
Lewis Magoogan it.
Yeah, against Front. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many you have in the wall if he's going to smash one in the top corner. Now, does he hit it well? Yeah, he hits it. He catches it
not
well.
that bloody well, Rich.
He gets a bit of swerve on it. It's one of them ones where they always bounce them, don't they, in front of the goalkeeper now because they want to get that, gather that pace.
Rich on Sky, and I would have thought again. Roberto Carlos did it, didn't they? Right, the way they're going on. Haladki should have saved it, and he knows he should have saved it.
It's been round the A140 and come back in, and
marshmallow wrists he had on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he should have saved that.
Got to get that round the post.
I wonder if the curve does, if he does lose it a bit in the curve, because if you notice his reaction when he jumps up, he actually looks to his right, away from the goal. He's expecting that to be bouncing back out off the post, and obviously it goes in. I wonder if that swerve, if he's lost it for a split second in that swerve, Matt. I don't know. It's a real head scratcher because it's distance. He's got plenty of sight on it.
Yeah. He's
got both wrists to it.
You know, to put it to it was just a fuck up. He should have saved it. He's got two hands to it. He's still bloody got in. But never mind. He's been great for us this season. It is what it is. If you 99 times out of 100, he probably saves that again. So it is what it is.
But he got his feet in this. Now, I have questioned his feet before.
Not the first time.
No.
A better goalkeeper with his hands saves that ball. For all the good he's done with his feet, we've spoke about this a lot of times. There's probably goals that he should have done better with his hands. That's the price you. That is the price you pay.
Can you?
No, you can't.
If you had all of it, all those attributes, you'd be playing for Man City.
Right, leak dropped.
I don't agree with that from Eric there, because if you watch it, he's standing in the middle of his goal. He's always going to put it that side. That's always going that side for me.
And he was on his toes as well. He wasn't like all these body weight was going one way. He just should have saved it. That's the end of the story.
Yeah, but in terms of the wall, I'm not bothered by that wall. It one bit, if I'm honest.
He gave him the best line of vision on it, and it still wasn't enough. So,
because I'm trying to sort of get in the mindset. My wall's set up to my left because I want you to go there, so you're going to go there. But I'm backing myself as you know. If he had shot from there unchallenged, most people would have said, "Yeah, shoot from there all day long, mate." Because you ain't gonna,
But such is the role of the keeper, isn't it? The magnifying glass of error is always.
This is it. Monday night, he's the hero.
Exactly.
Or one of the heroes.
Yeah, the header in that second half, Rich. I mean, what a great save that was.
I'll give him my man of the match on Monday because I thought he kept us in the game. And yesterday, he'll probably be watching it over and over again, and they'll obviously him and Rene Gilmartin, they'll probably go through the video on the Monday, and he'll know that he should have saved it, but just got to move on. It's gone now.
Let's not give him a hard time. Who knows what Wednesday and Saturday might bring? He might bring out some more worldies and get us a 3 points. So
still no contract though.
Doesn't look like there's going to be one, does it? That's another conversation for another time, I suppose. But yeah, very odd. The silence on that is very odd, considering the plaudits he's got from all and sundry this season.
And it's a shame yesterday when it was the only goal that decided it, wasn't it? Because we were probably quite comfortable. I know we've spoke about that 10-minute period, but I was quite happy how we'd started. And like you say, the crowd was taken out. I'd have quite happily taken 0-0 at half time. I thought, we're doing all right here. We defended fairly well. We didn't offer them up many chances, did we, really?
No. Would you say if we had got a chance around the box, for example, say Al Hamidi, right, the right at the end, we get a free kick on the free kick on the D right at the very end.
Oh yeah.
We don't really have like a Nunez style striker of a ball, consistently that you think we could score here. Do you know what I mean? We've seen Taylor score from distance, but not over free kicks or anything. We saw Broadhead against Sheffield Wednesday. We don't have that specialist free. Well, I don't feel like we've got a specialist free kick taker where, when it don't look like we're going to score an open play, suddenly you've got a free kick like Norwich get. It just doesn't feel like we've got that in our team, unfortunately.
Yeah, set pieces from our perspective, West Ham were very poor.
Yeah, we had a few corners, didn't we?
It was almost like Grant Ledbetter was taking them again. First man every time. I was like, can we clear the first man, please? Like, just one time.
Yeah, exactly.
One time. Give my
You're a
6'9"
professional.
striker.
The first man. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
we've got a fucking giant playing up front, and the ball's coming in at knee high.
Yeah.
So, get it up. Get it up.
He, that was what did you make of that in the stadium, Rich? Of that when Keith was through on the right hand side and it's to go for a corner. That was very odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, look.
Did he feel like he had options in the box or something? He looked like Martin on TV. Looked like he had at least two players in there for me.
Definitely Sarmiento.
Yeah, but
and he's magic, you know.
Yeah,
I thought he done all right when he came on yesterday, Sarmiento. I thought he was quite lively.
Lively.
I spoke to you about Kofi yesterday, Matt. I think, or it might have been Craig, saying he's a different player. I did say when we signed him, even though he was on my shopping list, I said this. People might have disagreed with me at the time. He don't give you that running power that George Hurst does. You know, you got to get the ball to him to get him in the game.
Yes.
You know, he's not going to chase them balls down. And like we've seen before, like George Hurst.
He'll come deep for it. He'll come deep for it in his own half, won't he?
Yeah.
To be fair.
But George Hurst was always running empty, wasn't he, Gov? About 70 minutes because he'd literally run himself into the ground. What'd you say? Start 6'4", ends about 5'7".
He does.
Whereas Kiefer's different, and you need to be getting in these wide areas. And you do. If you look at other than the first game, the Preston game when he came on that half time, Matt, and he caused absolute havoc in the air that day.
Brilliant.
But we haven't we don't really. It's just how we play, isn't it? And especially without Wes at the minute, because Wes is the one player who can get down to that line with his pace and get it in. Whereas Amari, you see a lot of times yesterday, he'll get the ball and he'll slow play down, but he'll cut inside.
Exactly.
But then Gov said this before. I ain't going to be too hard on Amari Hutchinson. He's still a young kid. Yeah. He's still learning.
He's been really good.
Still learning, and it's like he had to play yesterday. You know, there was no other option really to play out on that right hand side. Whereas if Wes had been fit, you've got Amari probably to come off the bench. Yeah. You know, and come on. I still think Gov probably disagrees with me. I still think number 10 is his best position. I honestly do. Yeah. But he's not going to play there because while you've got Chaplin fit, he might go in there after Chaplin goes off after 65 minutes. But look, Amari's had a great season. Chaplin, again, I will say, another away game where he goes missing. Doesn't affect the game enough as a number 10, but it wasn't the only one yesterday. No. All of the front players didn't really get hold of the ball when they had it. And like I said to you, Matt and Martin, it was a messy performance, but it was a messy game, wasn't it? It was one of them games where you think, oh yeah, it's going to be blood and thunder and it's going to be end to end and there's going to be goals. Norwich were quite happy with 1-0, weren't they?
Do you feel Wagner kind of schooled McKenna in a way? In terms tactically? Because we've seen this now with two kind of, with Corberan and Wagner playing similar styles. McKenna hasn't really had an answer.
But they know what we're going to do. They know we aren't going to change it up because you think the game, you're playing away at Norwich, and I know Kiefer had a back knock, didn't he? And he was a bit doubtful. Was that a bit of probably smoke and mirrors? I think he was probably always going to play. But at no time there, second half, you probably could have thought. And the only time we see this was at Preston when he played them. He brought Al Hanmidi on at the end with Moore. Yeah. That could have been another option, to throw another striker up there. But we don't do that, so we can't really. I wouldn't. That's not really a talking point. But I just think, does he change it? Does he play Ali Al Hanmidi? Does he play on Wednesday night, or do you stick with your tried and trusted? Do you still stick with Kiefer Moore? Do you stick with a Mast, or do you bring a Jack Taylor in? It's at that stage of the season when we've played a lot of games, and it might just need a freshen up, Martin, just for a game here. But you're at such a critical stage of the season that now it is nearly you're getting to nearly win or bust.
I would.
For me,
I would have taken Luongo off at half time yesterday, as you said, Martin. He was pretty ineffectual, and I would have got Taylor in now. Just to kind of, for that bit more of a forward threat. We keep saying he's better playing forward. I'd have done that yesterday, but look, he made the subs quite quickly, didn't he? But it just didn't have any effect, unfortunately.
My only defence against the tactical argument, which you sort of raised there, is that there's too many Ipswich Town players that didn't play well.
Yeah, exactly.
To say, if only McKenna had tweaked it here or tweaked it. Like from front to back, you could make an argument as to why this player didn't play how he normally plays. Yesterday, people were saying Wolfie didn't play well. There was moments in time where Burgess perhaps looked a little bit uncomfortable on the ball.
I thought Burgess was the only one for me who I thought come out with any real credit.
Yeah,
I would agree.
right, yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Morsi and Mass, Broadhead, Chaplin. There were too many big players that you normally would hang your
Not
hat
at the
on.
levels. Not at the levels.
the
that
level.
you
The bar is so
normally
high now.
expect.
Because
Yeah,
the
they
bar
said
is so
it.
high. But I'd like the local media to have asked you that. You know, Kieran, we've gone into the East Anglian derby here. You know, the excitement of Monday. Why was there so many bad performances? 1 to 11.
Because they're not human. Because they're not. I mean, they are human. They are human beings. You know, like, and we're talking simple, basic. Morsi to Hadlaki 5 yards. That's being lofted into your goalkeeper. As a simple pass that Morsi does in his sleep.
Yeah,
You know, you've got the two midfielders sort of clashing into each other at one point, I believe, with Josh Sargent. Like, we're talking real basic stuff. Kiefer Moore coming short and then knocking it 8 yards past an oncoming Hutchinson. Like, just real simple stuff normally makes it so good, so slick.
Was that the one by the dugouts when he kept the ball in and he fires it across the? I thought I'd pass that, wasn't it?
And there's one in the second half where we came short and then, you know, sort of at the touch of a trampoline. Like, this little simple stuff that you don't normally see from us.
Yeah, 100%.
Isn't tactical.
That we'd save for the biggest game of the season for the fans.
Collectively, we'd all decided to come and I mean, there's a video of Wolfie walking off the bus yesterday doing that. I mean, that was probably our performance he was smelling. If we're honest, it was awful, but we flush it and we. But before we do, as always, we drop a link and let you have your say. We've got people coming on. We'll start with Phil, who was probably in a pub full of absolutely rammed.
You're in the golf, Phil, weren't you? You're going to the golf, you told us.
Oh, you're on mute. The best way of having Phil Blunder on the
stuck one in out of bounds, didn't we? Unfortunately, in the performance.
Isn't that the best way of having Phil on the platform on mute? Like, isn't that?
Go, Phil.
It's the most sense you've talked all season, Phil. It's the most sense you've
talked. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
he is.
I was in the pub with a friend or two. I got one of the last remaining tables, thank God, because I turned up 10 minutes early. I mean, so yeah, the golf gets booked up very quickly. People can book tables because they have a lot of parties in there, and being the weekends, that's what they prioritize meal-wise. They make more money that way. So yeah, lucky to get a table. Pub was absolutely rammed, full of town fans. I saw the odd Norwich fan lurking around, the grounds, but didn't come in. What was that?
Lurking. Anyway, what I want to discuss is your comment on the YouTube.
Yes.
From yesterday's show.
Yes. Right. I want to add to that because, right.
No, retract it, Phil. Retract it.
Yeah, I'd retract it because I've never read such a load of bollocks in all my life.
I love this show. I love it. Right.
Tell everybody at home what you actually said.
Okay, right. I won't find that. I'll regurge what I put on the comment, right? My theory is, right, that because Norwich was so passive against Leicester the other week, right, that there was some thought gone into this. Don't shake your head at me, young man.
This is nonsense. Go on, carry on. Sorry. When I read it this morning at half five, I nearly fell off my bed. I was like, what on earth have I just read? Here we go. I'll read it to the world so they can read it. They can understand.
Yeah, you read it. You read it. You go on. You read it. Read it.
Don't play poorly today. Didn't deserve anything from the game, which was disappointing. The Norwich win today has increased the gap between Coventry and the playoffs. If results go Town way in the next week or so, both Coventry and Hull should have too much to do to secure a top 6 finish. I can't help but think that Norwich didn't perform against Leicester intentionally, knowing it would hurt Town's top 2 chances. Has Town, intentionally, again in brackets, not performed against Norwich today, knowing that it would hurt Coventry and Hull's top 6 chances?
Because, right, okay, I want to add to that because I've been looking at the fixtures ahead, and we all do it at this time of year when we're in this kind of position, when we're in the hunt for promotion. We all do it. We look at the fixtures, we do the maths, we do the predictions, right? Yes, each of our remaining home games now is a must-win for me, and it will boil down to either us getting a result at either Coventry or Hull. Now, don't you dare shake your head at me, young man. Right, the next game that Hull play is Middlesbrough at home on Wednesday night. The next game that Coventry play is away at Southampton on the Tuesday night.
David Elliston says, I read it and thought about replying, but figured it was just a wind-up.
Look, it may be a wild conspiracy theory to you guys and a load of bollocks, but
It certainly is that.
It's an opinion, right? Yesterday's performance and result was in my bottom three performances of the season, along with West Brom and Leeds away. And I think going on about what went on during the game, should we've had a penalty with Amari going down? No. Should Norwich have been awarded a free kick when Morsey supposedly tripped Sargent? He didn't. Sargent stuck his leg out and tripped Morsey. We should have had the free kick. Should have Twanzebe deserved to pick up a yellow card for his challenge just outside the area? No, because he got a toe to it, and it should have been to a corner to Norwich City rather than a free kick. That's my opinion. I thought the referee yesterday had a decent game. And, the two games he's refereed us in the previous two games he's had this season, I think was the whole game 3-0. I would say from what I've seen of him, I like him as a referee. I think yesterday we were given a good, a referee that has done well for us in the past. So no complaints there. Just disappointing, deflated this morning. When you look at the game was decided on one terrific kick of the ball. That's all it was. Yes, Halagi perhaps should have done better with it, but he did do very well to get a hand to it, considering the amount of swerve that ball had on it.
Come on, it's not Roberto Carlos against bloody France.
No, but look,
way Don Goodman was talking about it, you thought it would have been.
It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to get swerve and dip and bend on a ball from a free kick. Yes, from that distance, it's easier. Okay, but look, that was a terrific strike, and I was gutted when that ball bounced in on the wrong side of the bloody post.
Aren't we all, mate?
And it's disappointing. But look, it's still in our hands. And the way that I look at it, you think about all those Leeds fans, they would be all sort of depressed and down and deflated after that defeat against Coventry yesterday. They're probably thinking, oh, we should have capitalised on Ipswich's defeat. We'd be head in the top two race. But it's actually gone the other way. I mean, they're now thinking, oh, God, it's still out of our hands. Another game's gone. 5 games to go. They're like, I'm saying now, each game for us now is, it's huge. It's massive. 3 home games, Watford on Wednesday, Middlesbrough at the weekend. 2 home wins would put us on 93. Let's see where Leeds are at. I personally think we're all kind of worried about us not performing well in away games recently, and we've got to go to Coventry Hull. So what? Right? I think the Leeds fans will have just the same concerns about their own team as well as the Leicester fans will have about their own team, because Leicester struggled to beat Birmingham yesterday. They only just did it, right? Okay, and there is at least one or two, probably at least one more twist or turn in the last
definitely
few games this season. So we don't know what's going to happen, but look, it's still in our own hands. We need to be optimistic and cheerful about that. And I, for one, I'm looking forward to the next 2 home games.
Absolutely. Phil, a pleasure getting you on. I've got other people to get on, so I'm just going to move along now. But thank you ever so much, my man. Look after yourself. Great to hear from Phil, despite the comment on YouTube. The only I won't say good thing about their goal, Rich, but the thing I took solace from when they scored was I wasn't going to hear their goal music, which I've heard.
You didn't play it, did they?
Did they not?
I don't think they did.
Wow. I hate that.
I don't think they did play it, actually.
Did they not? Wow.
No.
So no one heard it. Okay, there's a small crumb of comfort, I guess.
I still heard about 25,000 yellow and green making quite a racket and thinking, I wish the ground had opened up and swallow me. Oh, no, that was at the end, at the final whistle.
Yes, yeah, when you were being kept behind. Mike, got to beat Watford first. Hard game or a trap game? Certainly a trap game on the Tom Cleverley. They're on the they're coming back. Not in terms of playoffs.
True, yes, they didn't. 0-0.
Yeah, he's turned him into a decent little outfit. To be fair,
that was my dark horses at the start of the season. But they're the kind of team that could just come to Portman Road and bugger it up for us a little bit, like what QPR did on that back in, what was it, December? Was it? And they got that 0-0 against us. We'll see. Well, like you said, Rich, earlier, Ipswich at home is a different beast to the one that goes away, and another packed crowd at Portman Road. Stakes are high. I think we can beat them.
They did play it. Drowned Out. I didn't really hear it.
I hate that song. I wake up if I have a nightmare. It's involving that song. I've heard it too often over my life. Too often, and it's always the bloody Bradley Johnson goal.
Yeah.
Always.
Good
It was a good finish,
Yeah.
shocking defending, but it's the silence before the roar. Then it's the music. Oh, I hate it. I hate it when they celebrate it. Adi, you were there, were you?
I was there. Yeah. Horrible
You met
music.
Fabio
I
as
agree
well.
with you.
You met Fabio as well, didn't you, Adi?
Yes, I met Fabio, and I met a few stars of Talking Town who were hanging around Stowmarket at the station. The Cruncher was there. Colin was there.
Gov told me to drive through quickly, passing through my parish.
I said, please, no riff-raff allowed in Stowmarket. Please pass through.
No riff-raff.
He was worried you might drop in for a cuppa. I don't want visitors.
I was actually, yeah.
Handy thing was, Chinese. Handy thing was, if we did have any riff-raff, we had Fabio to look after us, didn't we, Rich?
Oh, that's the argument with him, would you, mate?
Boy, he's a monster. He is a monster. Yeah, but that was great. Yeah, that was. I'm still fuming. I feel down as well. You mentioned Matt about the takeaways. I went into the chippy, actually into a local chippy after the game. I thought, I was going to have a bag of chips. What happens then? I bump into a Norwich fan, don't I, in Stowmarket? Yes, that wasn't good. No. That wasn't good. Yeah, but yes, that was. I feel numb. I feel cheesed off. I have vowed never to go to Carrow Road again.
Lies.
I have threatened her before, but I am fed up of being treated like second-class citizens up there. They really are bad. A friend of mine actually said that they went up in a car and they had broke away from the Hordens of going to the train station. They went there. A friend of mine actually just actually decided to give a friendly handshake to a Norwich fan and say, well done. He was treated. He got pulled sort of away. The bloke actually came and sort of tried to thump him as well. I'm thinking, well, you do try. Everybody just treats everybody else with the same.
I don't know if Adi saw him. I don't know if you saw Fabio after the game. So as we come out, and there's a fence there, boys, between like where the Town fans and there's a car park where the Norwich fans were, Martin. So Fabio's at the fence growling at them. And there's this little guy. He's probably no bigger than Matt. He's doing shadow boxing. He's in the car park going like this. This cover comes and pulls him away. And I'm thinking, what are you actually fucking going to do? He's about 6'5".
Yeah.
And you're like a fucking wet paper bag.
Well, the fence there is the proverbial when you grab your mate's arm and place it around your own waist and say, hold me back. It's like, there's a fence between you. We can all act really, really tough, can't we? But Adi, you sound like I did when I was like 19, 20. After a night out where I go, I'm never drinking again. Only for 6 days later to be on the absolute lash. You're going to be there if there's a playoff semi-final in May. Let's be honest. You ain't going to say, yeah, I'm not going again. You'll be there.
Only if their police, all the people at actually Carrow Road actually greet us with open arms like we do at Portman Road. It's a different kettle of fish completely. It really is up there.
I agree with that.
I have to point an extra thing is there was a bloke about two sort of seats away from me the whole game. He was just staring at a Norwich fan up Bartley End, is it, Rich, on the right hand side?
Yeah.
And all he was doing hand gestures, staring him out and everything. I'm thinking, for goodness sake, just watch the game. I know we're losing, but I've got a son who would have loved to have been there, and there's thousands of people who would have loved there. If you don't want to be there and watch the game, you just do all your talking outside the ground. I've just had enough of it. I really have. But
you're all brave, Fady, when you're about 40 yards away, giving the big one to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if they ever come face to face with each other, they'd probably shake hands and like, oh yeah, good guy. They wouldn't do anything.
The strange thing is that same actual bloke was outside, and the police were on him already. You see, so there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I've actually picked up an issue, and I spoke to Matt, or I texted Matt actually earlier on. It's something that Kieran said in his post-match interview, and I quote: "I have a couple of issues of a physio perspective, that's impacted, but I'm not going to make any issue of it. So he's not going to make an issue of it, but he thought he would mention it anyway. So I don't quite know what actually make of that.
What are you thinking, Ada? You thinking like players weren't as fit as what McKenna thought, maybe, or what's you thinking behind it?
Oh yeah, my immediate thought was thinking of the likes of Kiefer Moore. You know, perhaps he thought, well, you know, I've relied on my physios that he's okay. You know, an hour and a half before the game, when we all saw the team actually come out, we thought, well, will we be playing? Will so and so be playing? He's not only on the subs bench, but he's there in the starting 11. So I'm actually wondering, Henry hindsight and all that, sort of actually perhaps, you know, I've over relied on my physios as you would sort of want to, and it's sort of come back to sort of you nip me on your backside.
Is Henry Harry's brother?
Yes,
I knew I was going to say that.
that's right, Henry.
Brothers.
Come on, it begins with H. You know what it is. Go
wanna
on,
make sure.
stop nitpicking, for goodness sake.
Just wanted to clarify. That's
Ada, even though you was gutted yesterday, didn't you just like take a little bit of pleasure in Coventry doing one over Leeds? We're still second, aren't we? Bigger picture thinking in that.
Oh yeah. I think, you know, obviously it's sort of hard to comment, you know, especially post match outside Portman Road. You're all geared up, you're all fed up, you're cheesed off, and everything else. But if you sort of you gradually calm down the best you can, and you start to see it, you know, the bigger picture. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, we are in second place. Leeds did us a favour by doing that, and yeah, every game that's actually crossed off now, it's sort of it's getting less and less, if you know what I mean. So we have just got to keep actually looking after ourselves, as Kieran actually would tell us. He would tell us, as the supporters, the players, and everything else. Just take a game at a time. Don't worry what everybody else is doing, and to see where we are at the end of the season.
Perfect. Adrian, a pleasure having you on for your second appearance. Make sure it's your third
Adrian,
very
is
soon.
it today? It's Adrian. Oh yes, I've got Adrian along the bottom.
Sorry, Staymarket legend. It's the Adrian Croucher,
Very formal.
A star on stage and screen.
future mayor of Staymarket.
I will have to have a go at my agent, actually, because so far I haven't actually been seen on the on Sky yet, but I'll have to have a word next time.
Shocking. AD, look after yourself. All the best.
Bye, AD.
All right, cheers, everybody.
All the best. We've got Mike coming in very shortly.
Hold on to your hats, everybody. The fisherman is blowing in.
Let's just bring him straight in now. Look,
Here he is.
Here he is. The storm fisherman. All right, then, Mike, over to you. What are you going to say?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You know what? I've seen some absolute shockers on Twitter and some comments on the show yesterday, and you know what? There's no excuse for yesterday's performance, none whatsoever. I'm not having it. Oh, they're injured. Oh, we're tired. Bollocks! My boy plays 3 games in a week at the moment, and you know he's playing on what would be considered a ploughed field. So, you know, I'm not having none of this. Yesterday, right, there was no passion from the manager, no passion from the players, right? There was nothing. There really wasn't, right?
What do you want Kieran doing, Mike? What do you want Kieran doing? Passion from the manager?
No,
I mean...
No. Right, we get told, oh, he's a tad of Bobby Robson. Well, unfortunately, there was no tad of anything. It was tad of bullshit yesterday, because his after-speech crap he came out with after the game was even worse drivel than we had.
What was the matter with it? What was the matter with what was the matter with it?
No, Crunchy, it was awful, mate. It was.
Tell us why it was. Just tell us why it was awful.
It was typical. What I call, you know, after a standard loss to any game, we just lost to fucking Norwich again.
Yeah, but
it's
to the fans.
There's no it's, buts, and maybes. We've lost to Norwich again 15 years of not beating them. Listen, back in the days when we were winning and they were winning, we'd win one, they'd win one, we'd draw one, whatever, right? It was kind of accepted, right? But we're supposed to be top of the league, one of the best teams in this league. And yesterday we were scored by a man.
Lost 6 games, Mike. Lost
What?
6 games. Lost 6 games, less than anybody else in the division.
I don't care about them games right now.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing.
We're not talking about them games. We're talking about the Norwich game.
Yeah, one game in isolation.
Let's
One
talk
game in
about the Norwich
isolation that
game.
does not make your season, Mike.
Are you shitting me?
No,
No
one
way
game
am I
does
having
not.
that.
Norwich
No
versus
way am I
Ipswich
having
does
that,
not
because
define our season.
The only way that game yesterday and not beating Norwich this season makes up for it is if we get promotion. Because
Rubbish.
I'm telling you now, we end up in the playoffs. We are going to struggle against that side because Wagner knows how to play us. Them boys went out on that football pitch yesterday, right? I'm not saying they didn't try, but we went.
Oh, hang on, you've changed your tune because last night you were telling me they weren't trying.
No, listen.
You said
right?
Sam Morsey, Matt Holland, they wouldn't have a performance like that under Matt Holland. I said,
no, they
hang on, Mike. Remember back in March 2000. Remember back in March 2000 when we played Norwich at Portman Road and they beat us 2-0 and Matt Holland come to the North Stand and everybody was giving him the finger because they had an absolute stinker there. And you said we wouldn't have that under Matt Holland. That's what you just told me.
No way in a million years. No way in a million years.
But we did.
No. Matt,
but we did because we lost 2-0. Were you there, Mike, in that game? In 2000?
It doesn't matter whether I was there or not.
I'm asking you, were you there?
Look, we can disagree on this, but
you told me, Mike, that we didn't try. You told me that we didn't try.
It felt like we didn't try.
That was obviously an in the moment comment. He's not made that today. So we'll let him pass on that because he hasn't made it on the platform.
You can have his say, and it's always the same. Whenever I try to say something, I get shouted down.
I'm looking after you here, despite you talking bollocks.
Well, I don't mind. I've got plenty of people who agree with me, so it's not a problem. The end of the day is
the mirror don't count, Mike. You can't talk to yourself.
We had an opportunity yesterday as a club, as a fan base, and as a team to go out there and put one over our rivals. Now, at the end of the day is, if we'd had a draw out of yesterday's game, I still wouldn't have been happy with the performance. But at least that way, we haven't lost, right? We haven't lost to our local rivals. A team that Richard said back in before December wasn't good, won't make the playoffs, not good enough. Right, we've just lost to that.
I think even their own fans were saying that, Mike, because they wanted the manager out, not just me.
But, so all I'm saying is that we went out there. There was lackluster. It was lackluster. We went back to the old let's pass for passing sake again, and half of them weren't fucking going to our players. We did 400 was a stat earlier, 420 plus passes again yesterday. More. It was like watching him under Mick McCarthy again. And Morsey, captain leader, he was awful yesterday. Nwongo, he might as well stayed in the bloody shower room. There was players there was far too many players that did not understand, from old fans like myself and you, Rich, with respect, because I know that you've been around, you've watched a lot of games, and you've spent a lot of time and money many times over the years. I fully respect that.
I've been there loads of times, Mike, seen performances like that, and I don't disagree with you. The performance was really poor. No one can come on here, and I don't think we've come on here and said that we've played well, because we haven't. Have we let the fans down? I'll disagree with you there, because I think this group of players.
They did. They did let us down. We had no passion from the manager. We had no passion. Look, I praised this team all
But I don't know what you want from Kieran, because Kieran, this is how he is. He's deadpan. When I listen to him after the game, he always, for me, in my opinion, he brings it back to reality. You might think it's the worst thing in the world. We've just lost. He talks about it calmly. I don't want him coming out ranting and raving and saying, oh, he was shit. You ain't going to get that with McKenna. You're not going to get that with McKenna. We had Roy Keane, who was one of the most passionate people in football. We played Norwich twice one season. We lost 4-1 at home and 5-1 at Portman Road. And that's easy. And I can't say that Roy Keane weren't a passionate guy, because he was.
Listen, when some of the top managers in the world have moments where there's passion, real strong moments of passion against their rivals, your Fergusons, your Klopps, and all. Wenger's, Pep Guardiola, Arteta. They've all had these passionate moments against their local rivals, against their teams that they know they should be beating. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not asking Kenneth to do it every week, right? But if we're going to praise our players every week like we have, and rightly so, when they have a shit game against our, it's bad enough. It's bad enough that we have lost the 6-5 games because we all want to get promoted. And if we hadn't lost, then we'd probably be top of the league, right? But the reality is, right, we've lost to our local rivals with a shit performance, and there's only one person come out of there with any credit, and that's Burgess.
But how do you want him to show? How do you want McKenna to show more passion?
Well, especially when it's Derby Day, mate. Loads of managers have done that in our past.
But how is it? What do you want him to do? Jumping up and down in the line, ranting and raving? What do you want him to do?
I was phoning from one of my mates winding me up who's a Norwich fan. Literally. Did you send me a text?
I'm saying to you, I'm just asking, Mark, what do you want Kieran to do to show more passion?
Well, I guess just show more passion. I'm really, just show more passion. Regarding the derby. It's a derby. It's our local derby. We haven't beaten them for 15 years. How can fans accept that?
I get that, but McKenna ain't going to be jumping up and down. You want him to see passion? Look at the way he loses himself the other night when we scored that 97th minute. That's passion there.
But that's because we're winning. But when we're losing, you've got to have a bit of. You've also got to have a bit of side to you, like that is not acceptable. We should not be turning up and playing like that.
But I'm sure in the dressing room, internally, he might be tearing a strip off players. He ain't going to come out after the game, and he's not that type of manager. He ain't going to He ain't throwing players under the bus because they all respect him, and he ain't going to do that. He isn't like that. McKenna's not that character.
All right.
He isn't, though, is he?
No, he's not. I agree with you.
I'm not asking him to
last point, Mike.
Put players under the bus. All I'm saying is that we went out. We the first half was no one was in control of the game, and the second half I thought, oh, maybe it's going to get better in the second half, and it was just such an awful game, and to come away.
Max wants McKenna to do a river dance every time we score, Mike.
Look, I gave Halaki some really good credit recently, but yet again, come back and look, and that free kick, I've seen that directly right behind from what's name.
Gotta save it.
The wall is far too over, right? There's a clear line of sight to where that player wants to hit that ball, and Halaki, that's just poor. We got to get rid of him and get someone decent in for next season, regardless of what league we're in.
Okay.
For me, that's not good enough. But look, at the end of the day is the light. The only glimmer of light that we had yesterday was the fact that Leeds lost. And that's the only glimmer of light out of what was absolute. I'm still fuming. I'm still angry, and I'm going to be probably pissed off for weeks to come. Because at the end of the day is, if
might
you
be
go
promoted
out,
by them, Mike. Might be promoted in a few weeks.
If you go out and you play against our local rivals, you go out, you give 100%, you give 100%, 110%. You give them that extra. You don't go out there and play like you did yesterday and walk away with the defeat. Because you might as well just not bother turning up. For me, the players let themselves down. They let down and they let the fans down. And that's the bottom line. And we've got to sit there and deal with this until we play them again. Which might well be.
I do agree with that bit. Yeah, that is annoying. That the bragging rights. Yeah,
and it's just not on. It's not acceptable. It really isn't. We've done so well this season, only to have it ruined by a performance like that on their ground.
It's not ruined it.
It's ruined.
It's not ruined it.
It's not ruined.
Well, I feel it's ruined, mate. It's ruined my fucking weekend. I know that.
Yeah, but that's a different thing to the season being ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no disrespect, right? When something like that happens, and you know that you are on paper and in form, we are a far better team than Norwich, and yet we sit there and we've lost to the fuckers, and we've got to listen to that crap for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
You've had your
No,
say.
I-
All right.
I-
No, you've had
I
your
get
say.
it.
I've got to move on.
We could
I
still have
get
the
that.
last laugh because we could still get promoted in automatically.
Oh, yeah, but you see, then that would be the saving grace of the season.
Yeah, well, that, you know.
But
let-
your season's ruined.
Play them again next year. I mean, what? Look, I mean, you're sitting here
It's-
saying, what
it's kinda
if? What if they end up in the playoffs? We lose to them and they get fucking promoted. How are we going to
Mate,
feel that?
that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Listen. There is a strong possibility, Mike, that we could face them in the playoffs. I think we have to be like look, realistic. I know we're all like angry and everyone takes it differently, but
This is the passion I'm talking about.
there is
I might not agree with me, but I'm just showing a bit of passion.
But there is a strong possibility, Mike, that we could play them in a few weeks' time over 2 legs, and we have got to find a way. We are capable of. I know we haven't beaten them this season. I know we haven't beaten them for fucking years. We are capable. I personally think.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Over 2 legs, we can beat them. But on the other hand, with Mike, I do agree with him because once you get to them playoffs, no matter we're going to finish on 90+ points, Mike. If we play Norwich over 2 games, you're starting level. That's gone. And then your season could be blown away in 2 games. It could be blown away by 2 games.
Mini tournament.
That's a big pill to swallow.
Very. I agree with you. I'll be angry then.
Oh, look, I love you guys. You know, it's all. I'm not saying I'm right. I just love my club.
Absolutely. We sense that. Absolutely. Mike, thanks for popping on.
Hey, Mike.
Interesting comments. Got the chat certainly buzzing with that. Adi says, just look at osteopaths, do blood pressures checks. I don't think they do, but you can go there should you be in need of an osteopath or physiotherapy. Freddie's the governor there. Stephen Moore may have gone there during the week because he's had miraculous recovery powers from back spasms Monday to playing 70 minutes yesterday, or however long it was. But
He was like Uncle Albert, I reckon, in the that scene in Only Fools and Horses when Del Boy gets the you know, when they're all lined up there, and do you remember that, Matt? And he starts working on it, and he starts, I feel better already, and he starts dancing, doesn't he? Do you reckon Kieran was doing that in training?
Maybe.
And he starts dancing around.
I mean, just to look at Mike's points there. I mean, you know, look, we would all take a defeat yesterday to be guaranteed promotion, wouldn't we? You know, the bigger picture there. But he's right about the bragging rights. That is bloody annoying. I do get that.
This is not ruined though, is it?
No. I
still be ruined in a few weeks' time if they knock us out of the playoffs. I agree with him then.
A week is such a long time in football, though. What was if Leeds just chalk up a couple of draws this week? We win. Suddenly we've got 3 games to go, and they're well behind us.
But then people are looking at the way that if we'd have got that result yesterday, and then we're 4 points ahead of Leeds, and then you're almost over the line there. But that's not how football works, like you say, Matt. And when we look at these fixtures, and no team's probably going to win all the games, are they? It's just
exactly. And it's going to be
one game at a time.
And look, Leicester have won their last 2 games, but they're coming out a real bad run of form. They sort of go to Millwall. I think they still go Plymouth.
They've got Millwall, Plymouth next 2 games away.
They've still got West Bromwich Albion to rock up. So they you know. Let's wait and see what happens. It's going to be twists and turns. Let's just take care of our own business. We've got 2 what I think are winnable games this week. Can we get over?
Because I think this week, like I know Gov thinks Sunderland are going to beat Leeds, but that was a few weeks ago. I think if we're all being realistic, that is probably a gimme for Leeds at Ellen Road, Matt. I think. I think we all think that they'll probably.
We thought that would be when QPR comes to Bournemouth Road, Rich, and it was 0-0. So I mean, look, let's.
But Sunderland are dross, Matt. Come on.
Well, we thought QPR would dross.
But we just need to do our own job. If we do our own job 5 more times.
Yeah, exactly. Be promoted. But as champions, if you get 100 points, you'll be champions.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is it. And I was going to bring Frank in because he's in the Portman Road on Wednesday. So I'm looking forward to seeing Frank at the statue. But every time he appears at the bottom of the screen, he disappears again. And this yesterday. Have had this with Colin in the past, haven't we?
I see you had a new guy on yesterday from the Philippines.
Yes, we did.
He's been on before, hasn't he, that guy? Like early days.
He hadn't been on. The other guy you had on, was it Steve?
Steve had been on before.
I'm thinking of. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Steve had been on before.
From the lockdown years.
Yeah. Like Frank's here. Let's even bring him on. Hello, Frank. How you doing?
Frank. Oh, no, he's gone again.
Right.
Disaster.
But hopefully, well, not hopefully, definitely he will be with us on Wednesday at the feet of Sir Ralph following Watford. I'd have just come from hospitality.
Oh, you're back in there?
Yes, mate.
Are you taking the missus again?
I didn't have an option.
Oh, that's a bit. Of,
We don't get a sniff of this hospitality, do we, Rich?
Well, you want to be in the proper seats.
I didn't get an option.
Are you going Wednesday, Matt? Are you going Wednesday night?
No, Mike Woods is my ticket Wednesday.
Oh, he's got your ticket on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, look, we are a little bit sad today. Let's remember where we've come from, because this afternoon on Sky, Matt, you could watch the Bristol Street Motors trophy final between Peterborough and Wickham.
It's not called the Papa John's anymore.
No, it's the Bristol Street Motors. It's massive.
Wow. Yeah. Peterborough Wickham.
Yeah, I messaged you that yesterday saying, what the it's the Bristol Street Motors.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
Sponsorship. They get a new sponsor every season, doesn't it? That's
you'd
EFL trophy.
You'd rather
Papa
be sticking in the
John's.
championship with 5 games to go than playing in that.
You see,
Checker Trade.
the moment Town leave the division, it gets more tin pot. It goes from a pizza cup to some card dealership on the corner of an
Sounds like a
road.
regionalised one as well.
It does, doesn't it? Down the old ring road is where you're going to find the car dealership. Yeah, just down there. So that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, Watford on Wednesday. So join us for the match reaction. I might do a match preview show before then. I might not. I don't know.
Well, we could do on Tuesday night, couldn't we?
Are we back? Are we going to be back Thursday then for
Can't do Thursday. I can't do Thursday night, boys, by the way.
Oh, we'll
right. We can get someone else on. That's
fair enough.
Someone who talks sense.
Fair enough.
Someone who talks sense.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Unlike you.
Do that. I don't mind.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that to you. We love you dearly. Someone's got to. Right, but thanks for watching. He has been Mr. Matthew Phillips. He has been
I think we've tried to be
review.
I think we've tried to be positive, haven't we?
Close to be positive about.
I mean,
Close to
there you
be
go. ITFC Beard jumping in.
He was
Yeah, Discord now.
ITFC Beard was on the Discord, and there was tequilas galore. He was I want to have a word with ITFC Beard because his profile picture on there, the beard is probably Martin's length, so it's probably an old picture. Yeah, it's very long.
It takes commitment to get one his size.
Very, yeah. I could not go.
I can't be bothered.
Nah.
How do you
It's
get
a
it?
certain length.
How does it go from what you boys have got to ITFC?
You just leave it. You just have
You
to
have to
leave
brush
it,
it.
wouldn't
You have to comb it. How's it work?
It's a bit. Well, you can comb it. You can beard oil it. You can do all sorts to it. I just it gets to this stage on me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm bothered.
Need a trim.
Yeah.
I
can't even be naff with this.
You've got the time, you know, to do this. When you're getting up at 4 a.m., I mean, that could be your beard hours.
It takes me 10 minutes to do what you're looking at.
Beard hours? 10 minutes?
Yeah,
What
mate.
the fuck are you doing?
You got to get the lines right. You got to make it look good. You got to smooth it. It's not, you can't just have an old grizzle on your hair, can you? It's not a bloody Brillo pad. It's a beard.
Taking pride in your appearance, you
Got
Martin.
to have some bounce to it, mate.
You are the podfather after all.
Got to have some bounce to the beard.
Yeah, got some
Do you know
bounce
what I
to
mean?
the beard.
Got to have
What
some
are we all
bounce,
thinking then? What are we all thinking then quickly for Wednesday?
we're going to get smashed.
Okay.
We'll get back to winning ways on Wednesday.
What are your results so far in hospitality? This is a sort of barometer of
2 wins, 0 goals conceded.
There you go.
I love that. Might
Yeah.
We've
continue.
still not got. We've
Fingers
still not got a very. I did have while we were chatting. I did have a WhatsApp message saying Town's stats for 12:30 kickoffs this season.
No.
Oh,
no.
it's a bit shaky, isn't it?
Lost, drew, lost, won. The only one was AFC Women in the Cup. Lost, drew.
Maidstone was 12:30, wasn't it?
And if we have to play in the playoffs, it'll be a 12:30, the first leg.
Weird, that isn't it? Is that a preparation thing? Is it just coincidence? I don't know. Weird though, isn't it?
Did you see the Norwich fan who let the fireworks off? He thought it was the Ipswich hotel where the players were staying Friday night, and it wasn't the hotel where Town was staying. There's a bloody great box. He got like a box of fireworks. He just fucking lit the lot.
What
You know, like Blackpool illuminations. So you say that I know Frank's going to be at the game on Wednesday and Saturday. You're going to be in hospitality after the game. There'll be no match reaction show at the
I'm coming round.
Where's Soph going to be? Where's she going to be for 20, 25 minutes?
Well, she can sit herself somewhere, can't she? I don't know.
She can stay in the bar.
She can hold the camera. Yeah, can you come and hold the camera for us? There you go.
She might have to, I guess, with Matt Phillips being there.
Yeah. I'll be there Saturday.
I'll bring the tripod. I'll bring the tripod. Don't do midweek, guys. Do you? But no, I say jokingly we're going to get smashed Wednesday, but it's Watford, it's family ties, it's in there with the Norwich and Wednesday games for me. You know how I feel about those boys. You know how my confidence levels going into those are. Although my only confident thing I've got actually is McKenna doesn't lose back-to-back games. So I'm kind of
faith in Kieran.
And he's not lost. Is he not lost in midweek?
No.
No.
Oh my lord! All these pointers, and you think sooner or later it's going to happen, and we just hope that it's not Wednesday night, don't we?
We could do a victory over them like when Bodic got that hat trick on that windy day.
We didn't have Lenny Pidgley playing in goal that day. Fucking miss kicking for fun, are we?
Sean Dyche, centre half.
I mean, yes. Pidgley had an absolute mare that day.
Yeah, terrible, wasn't he?
Young boy.
Look, we beat him, mate.
Scored an absolute corker that day, Matt. He got the 4th.
Who was that?
Jermaine Wright.
Jermaine, yeah.
Yeah, great goal.
We beat him down at Vicarage Road, didn't we, earlier in the season? And
I think it's been a tough game. I think they've got some. Good players, but
yeah, will be tough. And the top 8 are for away from home. So the
crowd are important. I think the crowd are very important on Wednesday night. Everyone's really got to get down there and get behind them, because it's going to be a bit nervy. I think the first 15, 20 minutes are massive. I think if Town go a goal, it's gone. If Town went a goal behind, I think everyone's going to think, oh shit, here we go again. But we really need to get out on that front foot and start really fast, Matt, and hopefully we can get an early goal, get the place rocking.
Certainly, I think when we got back on level terms against Southampton and went on and won that game, you saw the role that the crowd can play. And you're right. I think if it starts off with a nervous crowd, I don't think that's going to help anybody, is it? I mean, I just think you've just got to make it a bit of a fortress, a bit of a furnace right from the off. They're very winnable games. Like I say, look, they're doing right in the away form, Borough and Watford. But, look, Town have been fantastic at home all season. Look, you said earlier, Leeds ain't lost a home game all season. We've only lost once to Leeds and kind of shot ourselves in the foot in that game, didn't we?
Do Leeds lose a home? I mean, it could be massive if they lost a home game between now and the end of the season. You could go through, like you say, they haven't lost, but one loss here or there, but for any team now, Matt, could be real vital.
I've something to think they'll be, and then they've got Blackburn on the Saturday, haven't they?
Yeah, they'll take 7,000 there because they'll get the old end.
So they're still not safe from relegation. And they were up until playing us. Did they draw yesterday? They drew yesterday.
Yeah, 0-0. Blackburn, Southampton.
They're pretty much draw specialists, aren't they? Other than when we rocked up at Ewood.
Yeah, and then I think they've got obviously Borough away, tough game.
Tough games, bit of a derby. That
got to go to QPR. Tough
game. They lost yesterday.
The Southampton last game of the season for Leeds. I think then.
What kind of team Sheffield Wednesday going to put out there? That's the thing.
Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, Matt.
Sorry, Southampton. What type of team they're going to put out?
This is one. My only fear there is like Saints are going to be playoff bound.
Yeah.
Russell Martin's probably going to rest one or two with that in mind. So I can see them rolling them over. But you never know. It's that between then and
who knows?
Between now and then, you've still got 4 games and loads of things can happen. Yeah. It's just keep it in our own hands. That's all we need to do.
Exactly.
It is all we need to do. Right. Thanks for holding the fort there. Sorry. We're done for the day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As I said earlier, Matthew Fletch, Richard Moss. I ain't got a clue what you said for the last 10 minutes because I wasn't even in the room. So you might have said anything and anything.
Where'd you have to go? What were you doing?
Oh, I was being called. I don't know what happened. But when I'm called, you got to go, mate. That's the rules.
There we go. My mate Matt, who lives down the West Country, I'll finish on this. He's just sent me a WhatsApp. Just been in the same place as Don Goodman. Felt like clipping him around the ear with how he talks about the Town. Yeah. He got a hot reception yesterday when he walked past the Town fans to go around to do the commentary.
I'm sure he's a very nice chap, Tom. I'm sure he is.
Yeah, sure he is. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you midweek. All the best.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and I get blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I felt went crazy from just the thought of you.